Hey everybody, Hunter back again from Showtime Studios. We're going to be doing part number 2 of the Making the Rolled Up Tarps. If you haven't checked out this series, part 1 is already uploaded, and this is the second part. We're going to paint and detail what we rolled up the other day. So if you need to know how to do it and you haven't seen the first video, go check that one out. And I get you up to this point right here. And it's basically made out of a piece of this blue shop towel and 50-50 mixture, or roughly in that neighborhood, of white glue and water. And you can see after it dried, we have the rolled up pieces there, and it looks pretty realistic if you you know, kind of blot it down a little bit and put some wrinkles and stuff in it before it dries, and then it stays pretty firm after that, so you can set it, you know, wherever you want to. There's the fold that I was talking about, and what you want to do is have this on the bottom, so when you display it, it's actually down like that. And so that's about all there is to that part. We're going to go ahead and start doing the painting and the slight detailing to it. And what I like to do is just take a regular toothpick, and I will find one of the bigger folds that's in it. Let's see, let's go, yeah, we'll go right here. And we're just going to slide the toothpick up in there, and that allows us to hold it. And we're going to be using some Vallejo model color. This is leather brown that I'm going to be using for the main color. And I'm also going to be using some flat earth from Tamaya for the dry brushing part of it. So first we're just going to shake up the leather brown, and I've already shook this up before I started the video, so it should be good to go now. And we're using a fairly wide brush, about a 1/4 inch wide brush for this. And we're going to get a little bit of paint on it, and basically we're just going to go in and brush paint the surface. I'm not trying to put a lot of paint down on it, but you want to get enough down to make sure you cover up all of the blue undertone that's there. And like I say, this is a very, you know, the rewards are very, I don't know if I'd say rewards, but the outcome is very rewarding. By doing this, it's like I say, a fairly simple process, and it's something easy to do. I mean, a pro modeler can do it, a intermediate, even a beginner modeler can do this. I mean, it's a very easy thing to accomplish, and pretty much a cheap way to do it. And you don't necessarily have to use this Vallejo paint. I tend to use it for most of my brush painting nowadays, so that's why we're using it on video here. But, I mean, you could use just about any brush-on paint that you wanted to. If you're using enamels, you're going to need to let it dry a little bit before you can go in and do the highlighting step that we're going to do with the flat earth color. But overall, it's you can do it with any brush paint that you want to use. And like I say, we're not putting a whole lot of paint down on the surface. We're just putting enough down to color in the blue area. And if you've never done it before, this is your first time around, you may want to let this dry real well and just make sure that you do have your base color hiding all of the blue of the shop towel itself, because you don't want any of that coming through at the end. And then we're just going to take some, and we're going to go into the folds on the end of the tarps here, and we're going to coat that down real well. Same thing over here where the toothpick is mounted. Sometimes you got to be a little careful, because if you jam the toothpick in there too far, it tends to open up your folds and make it look out of scale. And if you don't put it in far enough, it wants to move around. And this one's moving around. You can see I can twist it around the toothpick here. So you got to kind of be aware of that and just kind of work with it, because I don't recommend gluing the toothpick into it. You could if you wanted to, but I just kind of stick it in there and just keep my pressure light, and it keeps everything pretty much on the end of the toothpick. Another thing you can do too, if you need to push it in a little bit further as you're working with it, you can just push it in with the ferrule of the brush there. And we've got this coated down pretty good. It's looking pretty neat, pretty realistic. And don't jam a lot of paint in the ends on these folds. You want to get just enough in there to color it. And if you have any extra, just take the brush and kind of stick straight into that and soak that up in the bristles, and then just wipe it off on your cloth. Just like that there. And this side over here is not recessed as much, so we don't need to do anything with it. But basically, when we're done painting it with the brown, it's going to look something like that. And you can see if we get, yeah, there's the wrinkles and stuff that we put in it. Makes it look very realistic. And then, of course, the folds that are in there. I'll spin it all around here and let you see it. This is going to be, that's going to be the top side of it. This will be where we made the 50-50 split. And that'll be the downside, so you won't see that. And in all reality, I mean, all you would have to do on the downside is just paint just around the edges of this, here, and down both sides. You wouldn't have to paint all of the center of it, because when you lay it down, you won't see it anyway. You can only see around the bottom of it, the bottom edges of it here. So if you want to knock them out, you don't have to actually put paint over the whole thing. You can if you want to, like I did. So that's what we have on putting the base color down. Nothing to it, very simple. I'm going to go ahead and clean the brush out here. And with this Vallejo, I'm just using straight water. That's all I use to clean the brush out. I got a cup of water over here with my brushes in it. And we'll go ahead and just dry the brush out pretty well. Get all the crap off the ferrule of it. There we go. Alright, and then next we're going to move on to the highlighting part of it. And like I say, this is just Tamaya Flat Earth is what it's called. And we're going to do this as a dry brushing technique. So we're going to take the end of the brush, we're going to stand it straight up. We're going to drop it down into the Tamaya that's up here in the lid. And then you want to rub most of that off onto your cloth. And then come in and very lightly just kind of run that across the raised portions of the tarp. And you're not coloring the whole thing in. You're just, what you're doing is you always use a lighter color on this, and it will create the shadows and stuff in your folds and really make it pop out and look realistic. So you don't want a lot of paint down there, and for anybody that hasn't dry brushed before, it's a technique that you should work on. It's a very handy technique for a lot of different things in modeling. And same thing on the end, you come in and you highlight the ends of the folds, and then the leather brown Vallejo that we have in there will actually create the shadows, so you don't need to put any black or anything in. Getting a little low in the lid there on paint, so I'm going to go into the bottle itself and pull some out. And we're just going to go ahead and lightly dry brush a little bit too much there. Still a little bit too much. There we go. I'm going to lightly dry brush across the ends of this, just to create our shadow effect. And like I say, you don't have to do anything with the bottom as far as highlights, because that would all be shadow anyway. But we're just going to run the highlights all the way around it. And like I say, none of this is hard. Just like I said in the first video, I mean, it's a very easy thing to do. And you know, if you practice a little bit, probably one or two of them, you'll have it down, and you know, you'll be able to take it and put it right onto a model, and it'll look real well. You know, it's very simple to do. Don't get discouraged with it or think, you know, I can't do that. You know, give it a shot. It's very easy. Like I say, if you haven't done dry brushing before, you need to kind of work on that to get these details to pop out. And we'll hold it up here in front of the camera. I'll probably have to put my hand behind it here to see if we can get it to zoom in. And that's what it's going to look like with the highlights on it. And then on the ends we have it the highlights on the ends of it, and the folds where it's recessed back in there is a little bit darker. And that's basically all there is to it. That's a finished product there. You'd let that dry up. You can stick it into a piece of foam like I do if I'm waiting on things to dry, and just let it sit there for, you know, what we used on this, probably 15 or 20 minutes, and you'll be able to pick it up and glue it onto whatever you need to. But other than that, that's all there is to it. It's nothing real difficult. If there's any questions or concerns, or, you know, you need help with a certain part of this procedure, just let me know, and I'll be more than glad to either answer the question for you, or, you know, do a video to show you what you may need some help with. So all you got to do is ask on that. And like I say, that's all there is to it. That's how to make a rolled up tarp out of just a piece of shop towel and some water and some white glue and a little bit of paint brushed on and some highlights, and you have a very realistic looking piece. So that's all we've got for this video. Stay tuned for a couple more coming up here real soon. And this is Hunter from Showtime Studios saying thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.